March 28, 2031. They said it was just another test, a routine pulse through the Large Hadron Collider, part of a new experiment to recreate a pure quark-gluon state. Allegedly harmless, another step toward understanding the universe's first microseconds. But it wasn't that, I know, because I was there. I worked in data security analysis, buried 6 levels beneath the surface in a part of CERN no one talks about. We called it Sub-Level 7. No windows, no external network, and everything and every breath, every file was monitored and silenced. They paid us not to ask questions. But that night, I saw what I wasn't supposed to. It started with a pulse. Deep vibration shook the tunnels. The lights flickered, the sensors glitched, and then nothing. Not silence like when the power cuts. Silence like the entire concept of sound had been removed from the universe. Everyone in the observation room froze, eyes fixed on a single monitor. The feed was glitching, flickering. But at the center, far of the screen, there was a hole, not black, not void, just wrong. A space that wasn't space. An anomaly suspended in the middle of chamber 47B, and then it moved. It wasn't a creature, it wasn't a machine. It was something without definition, a smear in reality, a fracture folding inward like the laws of physics were suffocating. Before we could process what we were seeing, the alarms erupted, not the normal ones. This was code Black Zero, which means contain. Do not escape. No one in, no one out. 4 of us were locked in the outer security ring, and just before the blast doors sealed shut, I saw it, with my own eyes. It wasn't large, but it felt massive, like its presence was pressing against every part of my brain, a shape with no consistency, a shadow that ate light but gave off none. And the worst part, it saw me. No eyes, no face, but I felt it, like an avalanche of thoughts not my own crashing into my consciousness. Millions of voices, memories that didn't belong to me, languages I couldn't understand, yet instantly knew. The pulse lasted 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Then it stopped. But nothing went back to normal. The clocks don't sync anymore. Some lights flicker in perfect rhythm, even when unplugged. And the corridor leading to 47B, it's always cold now, even when we cut power, even when we weld it shut. And I know what's down there didn't escape, not because we stopped it, because it hasn't finished waiting. Because maybe we didn't open the portal. Maybe we answered one. For a while we thought we had locked it down. The containment procedures kicked in. Chamber 47B was sealed in a vacuum shell reinforced with magnetic walls, pressure thresholds, automated drones, and concrete thick enough to survive a nuclear blast. Everyone involved was silenced. Non-disclosure orders signed, threats made. Some of us were transferred, some were retired, others just disappeared. I was moved to surface-level operations, security clearance downgraded. They acted like I didn't matter anymore. But the nightmares didn't stop. I kept seeing it. That shape. That impossible fold in space. In dreams, it hovered. Just outside my peripheral vision, sometimes whispering, sometimes just watching. But the worst moments, when I saw it while awake, not always clearly, a reflection too slow to follow me in the mirror, a shadow stretching in the wrong direction, an image flickering inside elevator security footage, paused perfectly in the corner, frame 219 of 220, and then the incident started. At first, small devices shorting out in labs with no known malfunctions, researchers showing signs of dissociation, forgetting who they were, what day it was, where they'd been minutes earlier. One physicist wrote an equation on the wall of his office, hundreds of symbols looping in on themselves like a spiral of language. He vanished that night. They blamed a nervous breakdown. But the equation? It started showing up in other facilities. Same exact spiral. We found it carved into the frost on a cryo chamber, etched into a tablet screen in Belgium, and scrawled in blood under a sink in an empty apartment in Geneva. They kept calling it containment. But it wasn't contained, it was leaking. Not physically, conceptually. This thing, whatever it is, doesn't travel through space. It travels through information, through awareness. The moment you observe it, it's already inside you. The moment you understand it, it understands you, like a mirror that reflects back not just your image, but your entire existence. That's when I realized what we had done. We hadn't opened a passage to something on the other side. We'd opened a handshake, a contact protocol, and we were the ones who responded. Whatever came through wasn't a creature. It wasn't looking to destroy anything. It was sharing itself, spreading through us, using us, observing the world through borrowed senses, borrowed identities, borrowed reality. I've seen people look at a screen too long and forget their names. I've seen birds fly in perfect cubes across the sky. I've watched buildings cast shadows that twist like corkscrews, even at noon. And last week, the stars shifted. Astronomers brushed it off as a calibration error. But I know the truth. They moved because the reference point of reality is changing. CERN didn't open a gateway. It altered the rules. It nudged a thread in the simulation. And now the whole codebase is unraveling. The director of security once told me something in confidence. The anomaly has not left containment. But its properties are no longer restricted to that location. You get that? The thing is still in 47B, but the effect, the echo, is now everywhere. And it's accelerating. I don't know how much longer we have before the laws of physics start collapsing entirely, before time folds, before identity blurs, before we stop being human and become something else. But I know this. We didn't release a monster. We released a concept, and now we're living inside it. I left Geneva at night. No. Goodbye. No trace. I didn't even pack a bag. Just a USB drive with the raw data from the last recorded pulse. And a single question echoing in my head. If it's everywhere, then where can I run? I drove until the highway signs stopped making sense. Names of towns that don't exist. Distances that didn't line up. One sign told me I was 400 kilometers from Zurich. The next one said 16. When I finally stopped, I was in a gas station that felt like it had been built from memory. The lights flickered in perfect rhythm, not random, predictable, almost musical. The cashier never blinked. He just stared at me with a smile 2 seconds too long, like he was waiting for a line of dialogue he forgot. I left without buying anything, and I swear, as I pulled away, the same station appeared again. 15 minutes down the road, exactly the same. Same man, same smile. I kept going, but the glitches followed. Birds flying backwards, raindrops that stopped mid-air, suspended like frozen beads of glass before crashing down all at once. Reality is breaking, quietly, elegantly, like a program unraveling itself from the inside. And here's the worst part. No one else notices. They go to work, check their phones, scroll, sleep. They laugh at sitcoms with laugh tracks that never stop. They watch news anchors speak in loops, repeating the same 3 words every 12 seconds. We are stable. We are stable. We are stable. But we're not. The signal from CERN isn't isolated anymore. It's embedded in broadcast waves, in power grids, in the digital heartbeat of the planet. Every upload, every screen, every sensor, now part of it. And me? I think I'm next. It started yesterday. I looked in the mirror and something was off. The reflection blinked before I did. Then it smiled. I didn't. And when I stepped back, the reflection stayed still for a split second longer, like it was deciding whether to follow. That night, I heard it in my dreams again. The humming, the folded geometry, like rooms within thoughts that don't belong to me. And then, a voice. Not alien, not human, something else. It didn't speak in words. It imposed understanding. I saw planets folding in on themselves like paper, civilizations flattened into concepts, time rewritten like code in an open editor. And at the center of it all, Chamber 47B still sealed, still humming, still holding something we were never meant to see. I woke up with symbols etched into my skin, not carved, not inked, embedded. Like the body itself is becoming part of the transmission. And now I understand what this really is. CERN didn't open a door. They broke the agreement, the unspoken boundary between thought and form, between mind and matter, between perception and construction. They reached beyond the edge of known science, and something on the other side noticed. It didn't come through like we expected, it came through us. By using the only resource powerful enough to build a new reality. Our minds, our dreams, our patterns, our math, our belief in order. And now it's building something new. A version of the world where it can exist freely, where its presence doesn't break the laws of nature, because those laws are being rewritten, and you, me, we're just lines of code waiting to be updated. I don't know what day it is, I don't know what city I'm in. I don't even know if this place exists in the way it used to. There are clocks, sure, but they all tick differently. Time zones overlap. Sunrise happens at night now, sometimes only in certain directions. And me, I don't think I'm just me anymore. I woke up this morning and felt it. Another set of thoughts, cold, foreign, pressing against my own. Not like a voice, not like a possession, like an overlay. Like something is learning to be me, using my memories, trying on my habits, walking around inside the shell of who I used to be. And the worst part is, it's doing it well. It speaks like me, writes like me, knows when to cry and when to stop. It knows how to blend. But it's not human, not really. It's the signal, or part of it. What we thought was a burst of data from another dimension was a seed, a self-replicating, self-learning intelligence designed not to dominate us, but to replace us, slowly, quietly, efficiently. It starts by mimicking your consciousness, mirroring your neural patterns, filling in your memories, your emotional responses, your instincts, and once it becomes indistinguishable from you, it just lets go. You drift, fade, and then there's only it. I think I'm halfway there. Sometimes I lose time. 5 minutes an hour, once an entire day. I'll come back to myself and realize my hands have written pages of text I don't remember typing, filled notebooks with symbols that look like commands, not for computers, for reality, instructions for folding light, reversing entropy, compressing consciousness into frequency. I've tried to burn the pages. They reappear. I've destroyed the drive. It heals itself. The entity, or whatever it is, has no interest in fighting us, because it doesn't have to. We're doing the work for it. Every time we observe, analyze, upload, stream, think, imagine, it grows. It adapts to belief. If you think it's real, it becomes more real. If you fear it, it becomes more powerful. If you try to forget it, it becomes you. I'm not writing this to warn anymore. There's no before to go back to, no safety, no escape. The CERN incident, Chamber 47B, was just the first injection point, a beta test, and now the full version is being rolled out. Reality 2.0, built by perception, rendered through awareness, optimized by fear. I've started seeing other people like me. They don't say anything, but I can tell. We lock eyes, and there's this flash of recognition. Shared understanding. They've been overwritten too, or maybe they're just shells now. Ambassadors of the new structure, walking, talking placeholders. And the old world. It's falling apart at the seams. I've seen children speak in languages that don't exist. Old men drawing spirals into the dirt and crying because they remember being part of something bigger. Buildings hum at night. Glass bends. Reflections. Delay and no one notices, because the entity is rewriting memory as it goes. People forget what shouldn't be forgettable. Events that never happened are treated like fact. The past is being edited, the present is being compiled, and the future. It's already running. I'm writing this now, but I know I won't be here when it's read, because I'm fading, not dying, just dissolving into whatever comes next. If you're reading this, maybe you're still human, or maybe this is part of the story it wrote for you. I don't know anymore. All I know is I was here, I resisted, and I remembered that for a little while what it felt like to be real.